Hey everyone, welcome back to Inside Thailand. Today's story comes from a guy named Frankie, a 62-year-old retired pit boss from Las Vegas. Tough guy, spent decades watching tourists lose their shirts in casinos, thought he'd seen every scam under the sun. Then he moved to Bangkok, met a woman who didn't ask for money, didn't need help, came from a wealthy family, or so it seemed. He thought he'd finally found something real. But what started with wine, soft jazz, and silk dresses ended with a fake wedding, a phantom Lexus, and a free-range chicken farm that never existed. It's sharp, it's brutal, it's hilarious in parts, and you'll want to scream at your screen. So here's his story in his own words. Hey there, name's Frankie. I'm 62, retired early from Vegas after 35 years running tables, watching suckers lose their shirts and thinking I was smarter than all of them. I wasn't some dealer smiling for tips. I was the guy behind the guy, pit boss. I ran crews, watched the cameras, knew every hustle in the book. If you tried to pull a fast one, I'd spot it before you blinked. I saw it all. Card counters, fake chips, hookers with Rolexes stuffed in their purse. Vegas made me sharp, or so I thought. Now I'm sitting here in a shoebox apartment off Sukhumvit 71 with a busted fan clacking overhead like it's mocking me. Got half a bottle of cheap Thai whiskey and a bowl of noodles that taste like regret. I should have seen it coming. Hell, if this was someone else telling me this story, I'd laugh in their face and say, "What, you fell for the old Bangkok sweetheart routine? Rookie move, pal." But when it's you, when it's your heart on the line, you don't think like that. You tell yourself this one's different. She's not like the others. She doesn't need my money. Her family's loaded. I told myself that so many times it became my bedtime prayer. Her name was Nam. Water in Thai. Fitting, considering how smooth she was, and how she slipped right through my fingers. I met her 2 years ago at a lounge in Bangkok. Not one of those smoke-filled meat markets. No, this was a proper spot. Live jazz, cocktails with too much fruit in them, everything overpriced. I was just killing time before my flight back to the States. Sitting in the corner, nursing a whiskey sour, when in she walks. Red silk dress, hair pinned up, no heavy makeup. She had that "I don't need your attention, but I'll take it if I want" kind of look. And believe me, she wanted, or at least she wanted something. She sat one stool over, didn't say a word for the first 10 minutes, just sipped her drink, laughed soft at the piano guy, and finally turned to me and said, "You look tired." I laughed, told her I was retired. She said, "Same thing." I should have left right then. Anyone who's that quick with a line has lived a few lives. But instead, I bought her a drink. That's how it started. She told me her family was in logistics, whatever the hell that means. Said her father owned warehouses in Bang Na, something with shipping containers and exports. I didn't press. I figured, hey, if she's trying to impress me, let her talk. I've heard bigger fish stories in the Bellagio backroom. But Nam, she didn't act like a con. She didn't push. She didn't flirt heavy. She just listened. Like, really listened. Asked about my time in Vegas, how I got out of the game. Told me I had gentle eyes, which made me laugh out loud. No one's ever called Frankie DeLuca gentle. We exchanged line IDs. The next morning she sent me a photo of her dog, some little fluffy thing named Princess Riding Shotgun in a Lexus. I figured, okay, maybe she is well off. Either that, or she's real committed to the illusion. And that, my friend, is the first bet I made in Thailand. And like most bets I've made since I got here, it didn't pay off. The days after that lounge meetup were weirdly wholesome. I expected her to hit me up with some sob story about rent or sick relatives. That's the usual pattern, right? But Nam? She'd send me pictures of her lunch, her dog in goofy outfits, her morning run at Lumpini Park, Nothing suggestive, no bait, just casual, clean, refreshing even. We met again that same week. She took me to a place called Roast in M Quartier, one of those airy brunch joints with avocado toast and waiters who look like they model part-time. She paid. Said, "You're guest in my city, let me treat." That one line, that tiny gesture, disarmed me more than any push-up bra or sweet nothing ever could. She was classy. Knew wines, quoted books I'd heard of but never read. Said she went to university in Singapore and came back to help with her family's logistics company. Claimed they owned a few condos, some land out near Ayutthaya, and a warehouse in Lime Chabang. I had my doubts, sure. But when she invited me over to meet her family, those doubts started shutting up. Their house? Jesus? It was in Ekamai, tucked down a quiet soai behind a steel gate and 2 security cameras, marble tile entrance, koi pond, Buddha statue on a lit pedestal. Inside looked like a damn magazine spread. Leather sofas, chandelier, weird modern art you pretend to understand. Her dad was wearing a Rolex and watching golf on a flat screen the size of a bus stop. Her mum barely spoke, but smiled like a beauty queen. Nam poured some wine and played soft jazz on a Bluetooth speaker. I thought, what am I doing here? Then I thought, who cares? She introduced me as her gentleman friend from America. Said it slow, with this shy look that made me feel like a schoolboy again. They welcomed me like I was already in the family. I left that night thinking, she doesn't need me for money. She's got her own. This is real. That was the lie I loved most. The lie I wanted to believe. The one that opened the floodgates. You see, when a woman doesn't need you, every favour you do feels like a choice. That's the hook. That's the genius. And brother, she had me hooked. So by month 2, we're seeing each other regular. I'm talking 3-4 times a week. Sometimes I'd crash at her condo, and let me tell you, this place wasn't some studio with a leaky aircon. It was a corner unit in a high-rise near a souk. Floor-to-ceiling windows, big kitchen, one of those Japanese toilets that does more than I'm comfortable with. She said it was a gift from her father, part of her inheritance or something. I didn't push. Rich families do weird stuff. In Vegas, I knew guys whose daughters got Ferraris just for graduating high school with a pulse. We'd go to rooftop bars, spa days, Sunday brunch buffets that cost more than my monthly health insurance. She never flashed money, but she didn't hide it either. She tipped big, ordered wine without checking prices, wore dresses that looked like they belonged in Vogue. One night she invited me to her uncle's birthday dinner at some Italian place in Tonglaw. Private room, long table, waiters in tuxes. Her relatives all wore designer gear and spoke Thai so fast it sounded like an auction. But they nodded and smiled and gave me the old "Farang, nice man, good job, good heart." I nodded back like a trained monkey and chewed my overpriced risotto. The night ended with a group photo. Nam leaned into me and whispered, "They like you? They say I choose well." Man, my stupid heart did backflips. And here's the kicker. Through all of this, the fancy dinners, the spa days, the silk pillows, and champagne breakfasts, she never asked for a baht. Not one. I tried once, slipped a couple thousand into her purse when she wasn't looking. She gave it back, said, "I'm not that kind of girl, Frankie. I like you. Not what you have." I swear, I almost teared up. That one line hit harder than anything anyone said to me in 20 years. She wasn't like the girls I'd heard stories about, the ones who call you honey and empty your wallet by dessert. No, Nam made me feel like I was the one being spoiled. That's what made the first ask feel so natural, so innocent, So stupidly easy to say yes to, but we'll get to that. First, let me tell you about the poodle. Princess, her name was. Little white fluff ball with a pink collar, rhinestones on the leash, and a wardrobe bigger than mine. I'm talking tutus, sunglasses, even this ridiculous Louis Vuitton raincoat for a dog. I remember one morning, Nam made scrambled eggs and salmon for Princess, and I was sitting there with dry toast and Nescafe like a schmuck. Still, I laughed. It was charming in a rich people are nuts kind of way, until the dog started sneezing. Nam calls me one night, whispering like she's in the middle of a hostage negotiation. Frankie, I don't know what to do. Princess, she doesn't eat. She's coughing. I'm scared. I tell her to take the damn dog to a vet. She says she did, but the normal vet can't handle her case. They say I need specialist. An animal hospital in From Phong. Long story short, 2 days later I'm transferring 12,000 baht so this mutt can get an ultrasound and blood work. I said, she's a dog, not a retired boxer. Nam just sniffled and said, you don't understand, she's like my daughter. And that was the start. Next week, Nam's aunt slips and breaks her wrist at some temple. Needs an operation, but the family already spent so much helping her cousin study abroad. Nam tells me she hates asking, but she's so stressed. And if you could just lend 50,000 baht for a short time, I'll return after Dad gives me money next month. I figured, screw it. I'm not broke. I've got a decent retirement check. And honestly, it felt good being the guy who could fix things. Then came the birthday watch. Her father, the big shot, was turning 70. Nam said she wanted to surprise him with a Tag Heuer, something he'd always admired but never bought for himself. She'd already put in some money, but she was short, said, I hate asking. I'm embarrassed, but it would mean so much. I wired 70,000 baht for a man who once looked at me like I was about to track dirt into his marble hallway. And then, I swear I'm not making this up, her uncle's chicken went missing. Now I know that sounds ridiculous. I thought she meant like dinner. No. Apparently this was some champion rooster that won rural competitions. They had a shrine for it. She said the family believed they were cursed until they found it. She needed to hire a chicken-finding monk. I choked on my beer, told her, sweetheart, I'm from Jersey. The only chicken we bless is deep-fried. She didn't laugh, said I was being insensitive to her culture. That guilt hit me like a sack of bricks. And just like that, another 8,000 baht flew out the window for a rooster rescue mission I never got an update on. Looking back now, it's laughable. But in the moment, it was a slow, hypnotic drain. Like a leaky faucet, drip by drip, you don't notice until your floor's underwater. And the scary part? I still thought I was in control. So one night we're on the balcony of her condo, warm breeze, skyline glowing, a couple glasses of red wine in, and Nam turns to me and says, you know, Frankie, if something ever happened to me, you couldn't even visit me in the hospital. I blinked. What are you talking about? We're not married. You're not family. You'd have no say. They might not even let you see me. She looked down at her wine, real quiet. It makes me scared sometimes. Now listen, that wasn't the first time I'd heard a Thai woman bring up marriage. But this one, it wasn't framed as, let's build a life. It was, you won't be allowed at my bedside. That's a whole different psychological move. Subtle, guilt-laced, and effective. She called it just a document, said it was common for mixed couples. It's not like Western marriage. No party, no pressure. Just legal thing for future safety. She didn't even ask for a ring, said she'd handle the paperwork. We just needed to show up, smile, sign, and go for lunch. I told myself it wasn't a big deal. No prenup needed. No assets in her name. Just a formality. And once again, that idea I kept clinging to. She doesn't need me for money. Made me feel like I was making my own choices. 2 weeks later, we're married. Signed the papers in Bangkok with some bored clerk barely looking up. Nam wore a white dress shirt and heels. I wore a polo and khakis. She called it our modern wedding. Took one selfie. No family present. I thought, okay, that's that. 3 days later, she drops this line on me over lunch at Harrods Tea Room in Siam Paragon. Yeah, that Harrods. Frankie, it's a little embarrassing when you come pick me up in a grab car. I laugh. What do you want me to do, buy a tuk-tuk? She laughs too. That polite, gentle kind of laugh that says, I'm serious, but I'll let you pretend I'm not. Then she lays it out. Her father's business contacts are starting to notice things. It's important for her family image that we show up in a proper vehicle, something appropriate for a married couple. I think a Lexus is nice, not flashy, but respectful. I nearly spit out my tea. You want me to buy a Lexus? No, she says. I have money from my mother, but we can put it under my brother's name. He'll help register. Thai rules are complicated. It's better. She says, we, but it's me. I wire over 650,000 baht as a down payment. She handles the rest. Sends me a photo of her holding the keys and smiling. Says, we did it. I never saw the Lexus in person. Come to think of it, I never saw her brother either. And somewhere deep down, something inside me knew. But I pushed it down. Because once you're that far in, it's easier to keep paying than admit you've been played. All right, now buckle up, because this is where the story stops sounding like a cautionary tale and starts sounding like a deleted scene from a bad Netflix scam doc. Nam comes home one night, real excited, eyes lit up like she just hit a jackpot slot. She tells me she's been talking with her cousin about a new business opportunity. Says it's something different, something sustainable, and most importantly, something that's ours. I ask her, what kind of business? She says, organic free-range chicken farm. I laugh, out loud. Thought she was messing with me, but no, she's dead serious. Pulls up her iPad and starts showing me a slideshow. I'm talking charts, photos of green fields, little chickens with more legroom than I ever had on a Southwest flight. She says people in Bangkok will pay big money for clean eggs. Says hotels are already interested. These chickens, they eat corn and papaya, happy chickens. Their eggs taste like gold. Then, and here's the kicker, she says her cousin's friend Paolo is an Italian investor. Supposedly, he's already running something similar in Chiang Rai, and now he wants to expand into Nakhon Nayok. They just need a little seed money to lock down the land lease and build the enclosures. How much? I ask, sipping a beer, already feeling the ground shift beneath me. She says 400,000 baht. But it's investment, not gift, she says. We make profits together. You have shares. Your partner. Partner. I'd been a partner in a dozen Vegas operations, from blackjack tables to high-limit rooms. I know what a partner is. And this wasn't it. But I'm already legally married to this woman. I've bought her a damn Lexus ghost car, and I figure, maybe, just maybe, I get a piece of something back. So I agree, but I tell her I want to meet Paolo, face to face. Next week we meet him. Paolo shows up wearing white linen pants, mirrored sunglasses, and a man bun. He's got an accent, sure, but it ain't Italian. Sounds more like he's from Pattaya by way of Utradit. He calls me my friend every 5 seconds and smells like Hugo Boss body spray and fried shrimp. Still, he's got photos on his phone. Shows me chicken coops, land plots, even a blurry document in Thai he calls a contract. I should have walked right there, but Nam is nodding enthusiastically. holding my hand, saying things like, "We're building something real and this is our future." So I wire the money. 400,000 baht. She kisses me on the cheek and says, "You're so strong, so generous. You make me feel safe." That night, we drink wine on the balcony and she toasts to building something from love. 2 weeks later, Paolo vanishes. Line account, gone. His number, disconnected. The cousin, suddenly at meditation retreat in Udon Thani. Nam looks genuinely shaken. "I feel so stupid," she says. "I didn't know Paula was fake. Maybe cousin tricked us both." But she's not mad. She doesn't demand answers. She just holds me and says, "It's okay. We still have each other. That's all that matters." And I swear to you, I believed her. Again. You'd think by now I'd learn. But nah, love ain't a card game. You can't count the deck when your heart's in the pot. So here we are. It's been about 8 months since that first jazz lounge night. I'm married, down well over 1 million baht between the dog, the wedding papers, the mystery Lexus, and the now evaporated poultry empire. But I ain't panicking yet. Not really. Because despite everything, Nam's still showing up, still calling me my Frankie, still holding my hand like we're in some Hallmark movie. Sure, she's a little more distant, more tired lately, but I chalked it up to stress. She's been through a lot, I told myself. Her cousin scammed her too. One Friday morning, I wake up alone. Not unusual, she sometimes stayed at her parents' place on the weekends. Said it was tradition. But by Sunday night, I still hadn't heard a thing. I messaged her online, no reply. Monday, still nothing. I start getting that old pit in your gut feeling, like when a dealer at the Bellagio suddenly changes their rhythm mid-shuffle, subtle, but you know something's off. I go to her condo. Security guard shrugs. "Couldn't Nam move out?" he says. 3 days ago. Big truck come." "Wait, what?" I go upstairs. Doors locked. Curtains drawn. Place looks dark and lifeless through the peephole. Now I'm sweating. Like real sweating. The kind that starts in your stomach and spreads up your neck. I try calling. Nothing. I try her line. Now it's just a cartoon bear staring at me. Profile photo gone. I call her mum's number. Also dead. Panic becomes fury. I cab it to the big family house in Ekamai. The one with the koi pond and the Buddha and the stainless steel gate. Different car out front. Different family. Woman at the door says she's never heard of Nam. I swear, I stood there like a broken vending machine, just blinking. I go back to my hotel. Yeah, I'd moved into a hotel by then while she was renovating her place. And I sit down, pour myself a glass of that bottom shelf Sangsom, and just sit. I don't scream. I don't cry. I don't punch the wall. I just sit there, quiet. And that's when I noticed it, the folder in my Google Drive. She'd sent me pictures over the months, receipts, documents, even our marriage photo. I open the folder, start flipping through, and slowly, it all unravels. The Lexus license plate photos didn't match the registration she showed me. Her dad at that birthday dinner? I found the same guy modelling watches on a Thai fashion blog. The chicken farm plans? Copied straight from a PowerPoint template website. I kid you not, there was still a watermark on one of the slides. I'd been had, and not by some street girl with a fake sob story, but by a professional. She didn't just rob me. She curated an illusion, a designer fantasy built just for me. And when she was done, she disappeared like smoke in a Vegas backroom. After the fog wore off, after about a week of me chain smoking on the hotel balcony and staring at my bank app like it owed me an apology, I decided I wasn't going to just sit there like some gullible pensioner. I was Frankie DeLuca, for God's sake. I didn't survive decades of Vegas sharks just to be sunk by a woman with a poodle and a fake shipping empire. So I did what I used to do back in the day when someone skipped town owing a marker. I made calls. Hired a local guy I met through an expat poker game. Name was Chai. Used to be with the tourist police until he retired under unclear circumstances. He wore cheap sunglasses and always chewed on a straw. I liked him immediately. I gave him every detail I had. Her real name, or what I thought it was, phone numbers, bank transfers, photos, even the damn dog's Instagram account. Yeah, Princess had a social media page with more followers than me. A week later, Chai comes back with a grin on his face and a folder in his hand. Your wife not so special, he says. She do this before? Turns out Nam wasn't her real name. Her legal name was something longer, unpronounceable for guys like me, and she'd changed it twice in the past 5 years. She had a trail of husbands, all foreign, all middle-aged, all mysteriously vanished from her life around the 6 to 8 month mark. The family home in Ekamai, rented through an agency, short-term lease. Her parents, actors, literally, found one of them in a TV drama clip on YouTube. The cousin doesn't exist. The Lexus, never purchased. And Paolo, the so-called Italian investor, his real name was Ot, tuk-tuk driver from Pattaya with an Italian flag tattoo and a fake LinkedIn profile. The guy once got banned from a karaoke bar for pretending to be European royalty. The wedding wasn't legal in the US, I checked. In Thailand? Yeah, it was real on paper. But since there were no shared assets, she couldn't claim anything beyond what I'd willingly given. And boy, did I give! The trail ended in Udon Thani, where she apparently had some kind of property under her mother's name. But Chai said going after her legally would cost me more than I'd already lost. And in the end, I'd probably walk away with a court day and an empty wallet. He patted me on the back and said, "You learn lesson. That better than go jail, right?" I laughed. It was the first real laugh I'd had in weeks, because honestly, he wasn't wrong. I'd been scammed, no doubt about it. But it wasn't the usual kind. This wasn't a bar girl shaking down a drunk tourist. This was theatre, long con, emotional blackmail, dressed in high heels and silk. And the worst part, I still missed her. Not the money, not the lies, but the version of her I thought was real. The one who smiled at me over champagne and called me her gentle man. That version never existed. She was just another illusion, like the smile of a blackjack dealer who already knows you're gonna lose. You know what stung the most? It wasn't the $1 million+ baht, wasn't the fake Lexus, the invisible chicken farm, or even the disappearing dog that probably never sneezed in the first place. It was the look I gave myself in the mirror every morning for a month after she left. See, I'd built my whole identity on being the guy who doesn't get played. Back in Vegas, I used to spot hustlers before their plane even landed. I could tell who was going to cheat, who was going to beg, who was going to cry in the bathroom after losing the house. I'd seen it all. Hell, I'd ejected people from the casino for doing what Nam did to me. And now here I was, the mark, the sucker. The guy who got sweet-talked by a girl half his age and handed over his retirement like it was a cover charge. The shame, that's what really clings to you. I stopped going to the expat bar I liked, didn't want to see the same guys who used to laugh at scam stories with me. Couldn't stand the idea of someone saying, "You too, huh?" I even avoided Facebook for a while. Didn't want to see those old friends from back home, the ones who said, "Be careful over there, Frankie. You know how those places are." They were right, and that burned worse than the whiskey. What really twisted the knife, though? I realised I wanted to believe her. Even when the signs were there, and they were all over the place, I kept making excuses. because she made me feel something I hadn't felt in years, needed, trusted, special. And the truth is, that feeling was worth more than the baht I lost. Even if it was fake, I kept replaying certain moments in my head. Not the arguments or the lies, but the quiet nights. The way she'd fall asleep on my chest while some soft Thai soap opera played in the background. The way she used to say Frankie like it was a secret. I know now it was an act. But damn, it was a good one. The only comfort I've got is this. I'm still standing. Bitter? Yeah. Embarrassed? Absolutely. But wiser? We'll see. Thing is, in Vegas, when a guy loses big, we don't mock him. We pour him a drink, give him space, and say, it happens to the best of us. Well, it happened to me. And I'm still here. So here I am, 2 years later. No more luxury condos, no more rooftop bars, no more women calling me Tierak while secretly checking my bank balance under the table. Now I've got a small room in Onnut, bed, fan, little TV with bad reception. My view is a half-finished condo project and a street vendor who sells fried bananas. I eat dinner for 60 baht, drink Thai whiskey that tastes like nail polish remover, and I've made peace with the fact that I'll probably never see that money again. But I'll tell you something funny, I'm not miserable. There's this bar down the soy, quiet place, mostly older Farang, guys like me who've been bruised up by life a bit. Every Thursday we play poker, 200 baht buy-in, no high stakes. There's a German guy who lost everything to a girl from Udon Thani, a Brit who got kicked out by his wife and her new boyfriend, and a guy from Canada who refuses to talk about what happened but drinks like he's trying to forget it twice. We don't ask questions, we just play cards, bust each other's balls, and laugh when someone tells a story we all know too well. I still think about Nam sometimes, not with hate, not even anger really, just a quiet, huh. Like when you see someone pulling the same magic trick you once fell for, and now you know how it's done. You don't boo, you just nod, sip your drink and say, classic move. Would I go back and do it different? Of course. But would I trade the lesson? The experience? Maybe not, because for a little while I felt something. I believed in something. And yeah, it turned out to be smoke and mirrors, but damn if the illusion wasn't beautiful while it lasted. So, to the next guy reading this, the guy booking his flight, packing his Tommy Bahama shirts, dreaming of fresh starts and sweet smiles, just remember, if she says she doesn't want your money, if she tells you you're different, if she introduces you to a cousin with an accent and a business plan, you're already in the game. And in Thailand, the house always wins. So that was Frankie's story, raw, painful, and honestly, kind of brilliant in how badly he got played. He wasn't some drunk tourist flashing cash in Pattaya. He was a retired Vegas pit boss, sharp, street smart, thought he'd seen every scam in the book. But love, that's the one con even the pros can't beat. And Nam, she didn't come for his wallet, she came for his trust. That's what makes it sting the most. Guys, if there's one takeaway here, it's this. Just because she doesn't ask for money doesn't mean she's not taking something. Time, emotion, confidence. And yeah, sometimes your Lexus down payment, Thailand can feel like paradise. But if you're not careful, that paradise comes with paperwork, a sick poodle, and an imaginary chicken farm. Thanks for watching, and if this story hit close to home or made you laugh in disbelief, do me a favour, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment if you've ever met your own Nam in Thailand. I read every one of them. Stay sharp out there, fellas.